Hello everyone, I'm Tom Pounder. I'm the online campus pastor at New Life Christian Church. And all throughout the Easter season, I'm answering random questions that you may have or you may have always wondered about Easter and how it applies into the celebration of Easter Sunday, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And so today I'm going to talk about the connection between Passover and Easter. Like, what is the connection between Passover and Easter? So in order to best understand this, we have to go back and look at exactly what is Passover and what is Easter. Passover is the liberation of the Jewish people from the people of Egypt. Back in the Old Testament in the Bible, in the book of Exodus, you see that the Jewish people were enslaved by the Egyptians for hundreds of years. Well, Moses came in and was commissioned by God to help set the Israelites free. And through a series of 10 plagues, the Israelites were free. And the last plague was the plague of the angel of death, in which the angel of death passed over every house that had the blood of lamb smeared across the doorpost. And so that's why the people of Israel celebrate the Passover, is because that is the night that the angel of death passed over them. And the very next day they were freed by the Pharaoh of Egypt and they were liberated. Okay, so that's why they celebrate Passover. Now, Easter is the time that Christians celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. He died on Good Friday, and then on Easter, he rose from the dead and was free again and overcame death, and he is alive to this very day. And so Christians celebrate this to this very day. So what are the connections between Easter and the Passover? Well, for starters, Jesus was Jewish, and so Jesus celebrated Passover on a regular basis. But in the Easter story, the day before Good Friday, Jesus was having a Passover Seder with his disciples, with his closest friends. And that Passover Seder is a part of the Passover feast that the Jewish people celebrate to this day. Another connection between Passover and Easter is that both are celebrated in spring. However, the reason why they're celebrated in spring is different. Like, what they're based on is different. Like, for instance, Easter is celebrated according to the spring equinox, and Passover is celebrated on the 14th of Nisan. So there's different reasons why they're celebrated in spring, but they're both celebrated in spring. Now, while there are similarities between Easter and Passover, there's a difference too. While they're both celebrating freedom and liberation, the Jewish people are celebrating the liberation from out of Egypt, whereas the Christians are celebrating Easter about the liberation of Jesus rising from the dead. So there's a different reason to why they're celebrating each event. And finally, one other key difference between the two is that Passover is celebrated between a week-long period of time, whereas Easter is just a one-day event, and it's just a one-day celebration for Easter. So those are some of the connections between Easter and Passover, some similarities and some differences as well. But I think it's really cool to see how Easter and Passover are interwoven in the Bible, and that Jesus and his disciples, who were Jewish, were actually participating in the Passover event when Easter occurred. So I think it's really cool to see the differences and the similarities between these two very major events that happen in history. All right, so that is the conclusion of this video today. If you have any questions about Passover or Easter, I'm happy to answer them. You can put in the comment section below here, or you can email me, tomp@newlife.church. All right, everyone, well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time with a whole new video about Easter.